London, a city defined not just by its architecture or its people, but by the river that courses through its very heart, the Thames. The River Thames is far more than a scenic ribbon of water. It is the ancient artery that has sustained London for over 2,000 years, shaping its destiny, its geography, and its very survival. Rising from the rolling hills of Gloucestershire, the Thames travels over 215 miles, carving a sinuous path through southern England before emptying into the North Sea. Its tidal reach, stretching from Teddington Lock to the estuary, makes it one of the world's most dynamic urban rivers. Twice daily, the tides surge in from the sea, flooding the riverbanks and then retreating, a relentless cycle that has dictated the rhythm of life and commerce for centuries. Long before London existed, the Thames carved out a fertile valley, its shifting channels creating marshes and islands that would one day cradle a metropolis. The river's silt has preserved layer upon layer of history, each stratum a silent witness to the city's evolution. When the Romans arrived nearly 2 millennia ago, they recognized the Thames as a strategic lifeline. They built the first permanent crossing, London Bridge, anchoring their settlement and opening the gateway to trade, conquest, and civilization. Today, the river's power is harnessed by feats of modern engineering. The Thames Barrier, a marvel of hydraulic design, stands sentinel against the threat of tidal surges, protecting millions of lives and billions in infrastructure from the ever-present danger of flooding. In the Victorian era, visionary engineers like Sir Joseph Bazalgette transformed the river's banks, constructing grand embankments and an underground labyrinth of sewers. These innovations not only tamed the river's floods but also rescued London from the grip of deadly cholera epidemics. Even now, the Thames remains London's primary source of fresh water. Advanced treatment plants draw millions of gallons daily, filtering and purifying the river's flow to sustain the city's vast population. Beneath its surface, the Thames supports a thriving ecosystem. Once declared biologically dead, the river now teems with life. Over 125 species of fish, countless birds, and rare mammals, all testament to decades of environmental restoration. The river's banks are lined with the remnants of centuries-old wharves and docks, silent sentinels to the relentless flow of goods, ideas, and innovation that have passed through London's watery gateway. For generations, the Thames was the lifeblood of commerce, linking London to the farthest reaches of the world. Spices, silks, and precious metals once arrived by ship, their journeys ending at the city's bustling quays. Hidden beneath the water, the riverbed conceals the foundations of lost bridges, sunken vessels, and forgotten fortifications, each a chapter in the city's unfolding story. Yet the Thames is not without peril. Its tides and floods have shaped the city's fate, from catastrophic inundations to the ingenious defences that now hold the waters at bay. Along its banks, the Thames path traces the river's journey, passing beneath bridges old and new, each one a testament to the city's resilience and ingenuity. The Thames is London's liquid lifeline, a force of nature, a source of sustenance, and a living chronicle of the city's past, present, and future. Its waters continue to shape the destiny of a metropolis that owes its very existence to the river's enduring embrace. Nearly 2 millennia ago, the River Thames was the lifeblood of a wild and untamed land, its waters carving a path through dense forests and marshes. Here, the story of London's ascent as a global city truly begins. When the Romans arrived in 43 AD, their ambitions extended far beyond conquest. The Thames offered access to Britain's abundant resources, tin, lead, and grain, vital for sustaining the empire's reach. The Romans selected a site not at the coast but inland, where the river's depth allowed ocean-going vessels to dock and its width permitted the construction of a bridge, an ideal gateway to the province. This location would become Londinium, a settlement destined for greatness. For centuries, the true scale of Roman London remained hidden, buried beneath layers of urban evolution and relentless construction. Only in recent decades, as the city's skyline transformed, have archaeologists been able to peel back these layers and uncover the city's earliest foundations. Excavations revealed monumental wooden timbers, astonishingly preserved by the oxygen-poor London clay, evidence of ambitious Roman engineering. Through dendrochronology, scientists traced these timbers to trees felled in 63 AD, pinpointing the moment of reconstruction after a devastating event. Just 3 years earlier, the settlement had been razed during the fierce rebellion led by Boudicca, leaving only ruins and ash. The Romans responded with determination, rebuilding on a grander scale and laying the groundwork for a permanent urban centre. This reconstruction marked a turning point, transforming Londinium from a military outpost into a thriving commercial hub. The Thames became the city's main artery, enabling efficient transport of resources, soldiers, and luxury goods between Britain and the wider Roman world. The settlement's riverside emporium flourished, setting the stage for London's rise as the province's most important city and eventually a global metropolis. Throughout every era, the Thames has remained the engine of London's prosperity, shaping its destiny as a world city. Beneath layers of modern London, archaeologists uncovered colossal timbers, remnants of a vast and meticulously engineered Roman structure. These timbers, some measuring over 30 feet in length and weighing several tons, were expertly jointed and driven deep into the riverbank, forming the backbone of a monumental waterfront installation. As the excavation progressed, the true scale of the project became clear. The wooden posts, arranged in parallel rows, supported a quayside stretching nearly 200 feet along the Thames and rising 7 feet above the ancient riverbed. Behind this formidable wall, archaeologists identified the stone foundations of at least 10 massive warehouses, each designed to store vast quantities of imported and exported goods. The port was not a temporary structure, but a permanent, state-of-the-art facility. Its construction required advanced engineering techniques, including the use of iron nails, wooden dowels, and complex joinery to withstand the powerful tidal forces of the Thames. Soil samples taken from the site revealed layers of silt and organic material, confirming the quayside's position directly on the river's edge. By analyzing microfossils, such as ostracods and diatoms, tiny organisms whose species indicate water salinity, scientists reconstructed the ancient environment. Their findings proved that, during the Roman era, the Thames was significantly wider and deeper, allowing large vessels to approach the quay directly. The port's design enabled ships to moor alongside the quay, facilitating the rapid transfer of cargo. Archaeological evidence, including fragments of amphorae, pottery, and imported building materials, points to a thriving trade network. Goods from across the Roman Empire, wine from Gaul, olive oil from Hispania, fine ceramics from Italia, were offloaded here, while British resources such as metals, grain, and wool were prepared for export. The creation of this port marked a turning point for Londinium. Once a devastated settlement, the town rapidly transformed into a bustling hub of commerce. Animated maps and stratigraphic evidence reveal how the port's construction spurred urban growth, with new roads, markets, and infrastructure radiating from the waterfront. The port became the epicenter of trade for the entire province. Archaeological finds include stamped amphorae, lead ingots, and coins from distant regions, evidence of far-reaching commercial connections. The port's warehouses stored not only luxury imports, but also essential supplies for the Roman military and administration. The port's strategic location on the Thames allowed it to serve as a gateway between Britain and the wider Roman world. Trade routes extended along the river to the North Sea and across the Channel to continental Europe, while roads linked the port to the interior of Britain. This integration of river and road networks was crucial to Londinium's rise as a dominant city. The port's construction was a feat of Roman engineering and planning. Surveyors and builders adapted their techniques to the tidal river, using cofferdams and piling to create stable foundations. The scale and permanence of the facility signaled Rome's intention to establish a lasting presence and to control both trade and movement along the Thames. Today, the remains of this once mighty port lie hidden beneath the streets of London's financial district. Layered animations reveal how the ancient foundations underpin the modern city, a testament to the enduring legacy of Roman engineering and commerce. The discovery of Londinium's first great port offers a window into the city's origins as a global centre of trade, shaped by the river that still defines its destiny. The establishment of a major port was only the initial phase of the Romans' comprehensive urban strategy for Londinium. To fully realize Londinium's potential as a commercial and administrative hub, the Romans faced a formidable engineering challenge, traversing the broad tidal River Thames, whose unpredictable currents and width hindered efficient movement of goods and people. The Roman solution was a testament to their advanced engineering acumen and organizational prowess. Archaeological investigations near the ancient dock revealed a substantial, rectangular timber structure, meticulously constructed and filled with stone, embedded deep within the riverbed. Scientific dating techniques place this structure to approximately 85 AD, confirming its origin during the early Roman occupation and its role as a foundational element rather than a mere component of the harbour. Detailed analysis identified it as the base of a pier, one of a series designed to support the superstructure of the first permanent bridge ever constructed across the Thames. This bridge represented a pinnacle of Roman civil engineering, integrating advanced construction techniques and materials to overcome the river's formidable natural obstacles. Historical reconstructions estimate the bridge's dimensions at over 200 feet in length and approximately 20 feet in width, engineered to accommodate the substantial loads of military convoys, commercial wagons, and continuous civilian traffic. The superstructure was supported by at least 20 robust timber piers, each driven deep into the dense Thames clay, utilizing advanced piling techniques to ensure stability against tidal forces and seasonal flooding. Construction required the deployment of sophisticated Roman machinery, such as treadwheel cranes and pulley systems, as well as the coordination of skilled labourers and engineers, all working in challenging waterlogged conditions to assemble the massive timber and stone components. The successful completion of the bridge demonstrated the Romans' mastery of hydraulic engineering and large-scale project management, setting a new standard for infrastructure in the province. The bridge's scale and durability established it as a critical artery for movement and commerce, fundamentally altering the urban landscape of Londinium. For nearly a millennium, this was the sole crossing point over the Thames in London, dictating the flow of all north-south traffic and reinforcing Londinium's role as the principal nexus of Roman Britain. The bridge's presence enabled the seamless transfer of goods, military units and information, directly fueling the city's economic expansion and strategic significance. The integration of the port and bridge created a unified transport complex, optimizing the logistics of supply and distribution throughout the province. Goods arriving by river could be rapidly transferred to overland routes via the bridge, ensuring efficient connectivity between the northern and southern territories of Roman Britain. This infrastructure formed the backbone of Roman Britain's transport network, with roads radiating from Londinium and converging at the bridge, facilitating administrative control and economic integration. Even after the Roman withdrawal in the 5th century, the bridge's foundational elements persisted, influencing subsequent bridge construction and urban development for centuries. The enduring presence of the bridge determined the spatial organization of medieval London, anchoring the city's growth and maintaining its strategic prominence. Today, the modern London Bridge occupies nearly the same site, a direct legacy of Roman engineering decisions that continue to shape the city's infrastructure. The Romans' precise selection of the bridge's location established a transport axis that has dictated London's urban geography for 2 millennia, embedding their engineering legacy deep within the city's fabric. Let's leap ahead to the late 16th century, when the Thames was not just a river, but a stage for high-stakes maritime drama. In these turbulent waters, the river bustled with ships outfitted for adventure, some legitimate traders, others covertly armed for far more dangerous missions. Privateers, operating under royal commission, transformed their ships into floating arsenals. They meticulously prepared for battle, reinforcing hulls, mounting extra cannons, and stockpiling weapons for close-quarters combat. Their tactics were as cunning as they were bold. Privateers would often shadow merchant fleets downriver, only to break away under cover of darkness, setting course for the busy shipping lanes off the coast of Spain and Portugal. Out at sea, these encounters were brutal and swift. English ships, lighter and faster, would close in on the lumbering Spanish treasure galleons, unleashing devastating broadsides before grappling and boarding. Once aboard, privateers seized everything of value: silver, gold, spices, and silks, hauling their prizes back to the Thames, where the river's warehouses brimmed with foreign plunder. The most legendary of these ships was the Golden Hind, Sir Francis Drake's flagship. After circumnavigating the globe and raiding Spanish settlements, it returned to the Thames so laden with treasure that it nearly rode below the waterline. Drake's exploits were meticulously planned. He used intelligence gathered from captured charts and intercepted messages, striking at weakly defended ports and treasure convoys. Sometimes, entire squadrons of privateers coordinated attacks, using signal flags and lantern codes to ambush enemy fleets in the Channel, before racing back up the Thames with their spoils. The river became a living ledger of these exploits. Each ship's arrival was recorded in logbooks, and the division of spoils was a carefully orchestrated affair, with shares allocated to captains, crews, and investors. The wealth pouring in from privateering funded the rapid expansion of the English Navy and transformed the Thames into a hive of shipbuilding and commerce. By the end of the century, the Thames was the artery through which the riches of the world flowed into London, its waters echoing with the legacy of daring raids, cunning tactics, and the relentless pursuit of fortune on the high seas. The hidden world of privateering and piracy beneath the Thames is not merely a tale told in dusty archives. Its most compelling evidence lies preserved in the cold, silty depths of the Thames estuary. In 2003, a meticulous sonar survey by the Port of London Authority detected an unusual formation on the riverbed within the Prince's Channel, a vital artery for maritime trade. Subsequent underwater exploration revealed the spectral remains of a wooden vessel, its 80-foot hull gradually emerging from centuries of sediment, a silent witness to a lost era. The ship's clinker-built construction, with its overlapping planks, immediately identified it as a product of 16th-century shipwrights, an era when England's maritime ambitions were at their zenith. This vessel had once sailed the Thames during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, a time when London's fortunes were inextricably tied to the sea. Initial assessments suggested a typical merchant ship, its timbers concealing the remnants of a commercial voyage. The cargo, tin, lead ingots, and iron bars, spoke of England's industrial reach and the lucrative trade that coursed through the Thames. Yet, as the investigation deepened, a startling discovery emerged from the gloom: the unmistakable silhouette of heavy artillery. Over a dozen iron cannons encrusted with centuries of marine life lay scattered across the wreck, far exceeding the defensive needs of any ordinary merchantman. This formidable arsenal revealed the vessel's dual purpose: commerce intertwined with sanctioned aggression, a floating embodiment of Elizabethan ambition. Such ships were engineered for both profit and predation, their holds filled with goods and their decks bristling with weaponry. The wreck became a tantalizing enigma, an artifact of London's maritime ascendancy, yet its true identity remained elusive. The turning point arrived when a cannon was delicately retrieved from the riverbed, its surface obscured by centuries of accreted silt and shell. Conservationists painstakingly removed the marine incrustation, revealing details lost to time. Etched into the metal were the initials TG and the emblem of a grasshopper, a cipher of immense historical significance. This insignia belonged to Sir Thomas Gresham, a titan of Elizabethan finance and a principal architect of London's commercial empire. Gresham's influence extended from the Royal Exchange to the outfitting of ships that blurred the line between merchant and marauder. He epitomized the elite investors who fueled England's maritime expansion, underwriting ventures that promised both trade and plunder. The cannon's markings forged a direct link between the sunken fortune and the upper echelons of English society. Drawing on this evidence, maritime historians identified the wreck as the Cherubim, a vessel whose story encapsulates the era's volatile blend of commerce and conflict. The Cherubim was a levanter, a robust armed merchantman that plied the eastern Mediterranean, its voyages straddling the line between legitimate trade and privateering. In 1603, the Cherubim met its fate in a violent Thames estuary storm, its holds heavy with the spoils of a distant voyage, its fortune lost to the river's depths. The wreck remains a pristine time capsule, a vessel laden with both cargo and armament, a testament to the dual nature of Elizabethan maritime enterprise. Today, the Cherubim's remains illuminate the shadowy interplay of trade, piracy, and power that shaped the Thames, its sunken fortune a silent but enduring legacy in the river's storied history. In the heart of the 17th century, a new era of naval warfare dawned, and at its forefront stood the formidable warship HMS London. This vessel was not merely a ship, but a floating fortress, an embodiment of England's growing ambition to command the seas. Constructed at the renowned Chatham dockyard, HMS London was built from thousands of tons of English oak, her hull reinforced to withstand the brutal impact of cannon fire. Shipwrights employed the latest techniques of the age, integrating multiple gun decks, reinforced bulkheads, and advanced rigging systems. The London was classified as a second-rate ship of the line, mounting 76 guns across two main decks. Her firepower was immense, capable of unleashing devastating broadsides in the heat of battle. Below decks, vast stores of gunpowder, shot, and provisions enabled her to remain at sea for extended campaigns. HMS London's missions were as ambitious as her design. She served as a flagship in the Anglo-Dutch Wars, leading squadrons into fierce engagements against rival navies. Her presence projected English power, safeguarding vital trade routes and deterring enemy incursions into the Channel and North Sea. The London was not only a weapon of war, but a symbol of national prestige. Her ornate carvings and imposing silhouette struck awe into friend and foe alike. The ship's logbooks, meticulously kept, reveal a world of discipline, routine, and readiness for sudden violence. In battle, HMS London's role was pivotal. She coordinated fleet actions, delivered crushing broadsides, and absorbed enemy fire, thanks to her robust construction. Her officers and crew executed complex maneuvers, relying on precise communication and unwavering discipline. Navigation was a constant challenge. The London's officers used the latest instruments, brass dividers, sundial compasses, and detailed charts to plot courses through treacherous waters. Her ability to maneuver swiftly and hold formation was a testament to both her design and the skill of her crew. The construction and service of HMS London marked a turning point in naval architecture. She represented a leap forward in firepower, durability, and operational range, influencing the design of warships for generations to come. Tragically, HMS London met her end in 1665 when a catastrophic explosion tore through her powder magazine, sending the mighty vessel to the bottom of the Thames estuary. The cause remains uncertain, but the loss was a sobering reminder of the dangers faced by these floating arsenals. Today, the remains of HMS London rest beneath the silt, her timbers and cannons preserved by the cold, dark waters. Archaeological surveys and digital reconstructions have revealed her scale and complexity, offering a unique window into the world of 17th-century naval warfare. HMS London's legacy endures as a testament to the ingenuity, ambition, and sacrifice of her builders and crew. Her story is woven into the fabric of British naval history, a symbol of the nation's rise as a maritime power and the relentless pursuit of mastery over the seas. Beneath the murky waters of the Thames estuary, the shattered remains of HMS London tell a story of sudden, violent destruction, one that has fascinated maritime historians and archaeologists for centuries. The archaeological survey revealed a catastrophic scene. The ship was not merely broken, but violently fragmented, with massive sections of the hull and superstructure scattered across the seabed, some over 1,300 feet from the main wreck site. This pattern of destruction is consistent with a high-energy, instantaneous detonation, far beyond the gradual decay of a ship succumbing to the elements. The force required to propel such heavy timbers, such a distance could only have come from a massive, internal explosion. The technical cause of this devastation was traced through historical records, most notably the meticulous diary of Samuel Pepys, a senior civil servant and later secretary to the Admiralty, whose obsession with naval affairs provided a rare, detailed account of the disaster. On March 7th, 1665, as the London was being moved from Chatham to the Thames estuary to join the fleet preparing for war against the Dutch, disaster struck. Pepys recorded the event with chilling precision, noting the suddenness and scale of the explosion. The environmental impact was immediate and severe. The explosion sent shockwaves through the water and air, scattering debris and releasing a plume of smoke and splinters that would have been visible for miles. The force of the blast was so great that it disrupted the local marine ecosystem, depositing toxic residues from gunpowder and splintered wood across the estuary floor. Technically, the London was a powder keg. She carried approximately 12 tons of gunpowder, stored deep within her wooden hull in the powder magazine, a confined space designed to minimize the risk of accidental ignition, but also to maximize the destructive potential if disaster struck. The historical context was one of urgency and chaos. The crew, many newly pressed into service, were hastily preparing the ship for imminent conflict. Evidence from the wreck indicates that essential gunnery equipment remained packed away, suggesting that the ship was not yet battle-ready. In this environment, the risk of accidental ignition was extreme. A single spark, perhaps from a candle, a lantern, or a dropped match, could ignite loose gunpowder grains, setting off a chain reaction. The confined space of the magazine would have amplified the pressure, causing the hull to rupture outward in a fraction of a second. The aftermath was catastrophic. The explosion obliterated the central structure of the ship, sending timbers, iron fittings, and powder casks hurtling through the water and air. The environmental shock was compounded by the sudden release of toxic gases and debris, which would have lingered in the estuary for weeks. The technical lessons learned from the London's destruction were profound. The Royal Navy recognized the need for rigorous safety protocols, improved magazine design, and standardized procedures for handling volatile materials. The disaster accelerated the adoption of fireproofing measures and stricter regulations regarding open flames and powder storage. Over time, these changes transformed the Royal Navy from a loosely organized force into a disciplined, technically advanced institution. The environmental scars of the explosion faded, but the technical and historical lessons endured, shaping naval engineering and operational standards for generations to come. Beneath the surface of the Thames estuary, a silent menace endures, a relic not of ancient times, but of the turbulent 20th century. The SS Richard Montgomery, a name that echoes with both historical significance and present-day peril, lies semi-submerged just 1.5 miles from the Kent coastline, its rusting hulk, marked by 3 skeletal masts protruding eerily from the water, is encircled by a permanent exclusion zone, monitored relentlessly by radar and surveillance systems. This is not a forgotten curiosity, but one of the most hazardous shipwrecks in all of British waters. The Montgomery is a stark reminder that the Thames, a river steeped in history, also harbours threats that are alarmingly modern. The SS Richard Montgomery was a Liberty ship, part of a vast fleet of over 2,700 emergency cargo vessels constructed at breakneck speed in American shipyards during World War II. These ships were the backbone of the Allied supply chain, ferrying essential war materials across the perilous Atlantic. Their design prioritized rapid assembly over durability, with welded seams replacing traditional rivets and steel that could become dangerously brittle in cold waters. This notorious flaw made them susceptible to catastrophic structural failure. In August 1944, the Richard Montgomery arrived in the Thames estuary, heavily laden with munitions destined for the European front. While awaiting further orders, the ship was caught by a powerful current, dragging its anchor and running aground on a sandbar. As the tide receded, the immense weight of its 7,000 tons of cargo bore down on the unsupported hull, causing it to bend, buckle, and ultimately split in two. Salvage teams raced against time to recover as much of the cargo as possible from the forward holds. Yet the stern section, containing the most volatile munitions, sank rapidly, eluding recovery efforts. Since that day, the wreck has remained a brooding presence, just offshore from Sheerness and perilously close to a major natural gas terminal. The true danger of the SS Richard Montgomery lies in its deadly cargo. Deep within the stern holds rest an estimated 1,400 tons of high explosives, including nearly 302,000-pound blockbuster bombs, thousands of smaller bombs, and approximately 2,500 cluster bombs. These munitions, sealed in the darkness for nearly 80 years, have become increasingly unstable with time. Should this cargo ever detonate, whether triggered by structural collapse, corrosion, or an unforeseen accident, experts warn it could unleash one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in peacetime history. The resulting blast would send a towering column of water and debris skyward, generate a massive tidal wave, and devastate the surrounding area, with consequences reaching far beyond the estuary itself. The risk is not merely theoretical. The wreck is steadily decaying, its corroded superstructure at constant risk of collapse. A single falling section could impact the volatile munitions below, setting off a chain reaction of unimaginable force. The exclusion zone and continuous monitoring are the only barriers between this submerged arsenal and disaster. Today, the government's policy is one of cautious vigilance. Let sleeping bombs lie. The SS Richard Montgomery remains under constant observation, a chilling testament to the enduring legacy of war and the hidden dangers that still lurk beneath the Thames. Its presence is a stark reminder that the river's history is not only written in ancient stones and forgotten relics, but also in the silent, ever-present threat of modern catastrophe. Beneath the restless surface of the Thames, another world lies concealed, a labyrinth of secret tunnels and hidden infrastructure weaving silently beneath London's historic river. While the city above pulses with life, a network of passageways, pipelines, and chambers snakes through the clay and gravel, largely unnoticed by those who walk its bustling streets. This subterranean realm began to take shape in the Victorian era, when London's explosive growth demanded bold engineering. The world's first underwater tunnel, the Thames Tunnel, was completed in 1843, a marvel of ingenuity that set the stage for a sprawling web of under-river connections. Today, the Thames is crossed by over 20 tunnels, each with its own story etched into the city's underbelly. Some serve the relentless flow of commuters, like the deep-bore tubes of the London Underground, whose trains thunder unseen beneath the river's muddy bed. Others are arteries of commerce. The vast, pressurized tunnels of the Thames watering main silently deliver millions of gallons of fresh water, while hidden sewers, descendants of Joseph Bazalgette's Victorian masterpiece, carry away the city's waste, protecting London from the spectre of disease. But not all of these tunnels are public knowledge. Beneath the river, tightly secured and largely undocumented, run the secret passageways of government and military infrastructure. During World War II, clandestine cables and communication lines were laid beneath the Thames, ensuring that vital messages could cross the city even under the threat of bombing raids. Some of these routes remain classified, their exact locations known only to a handful of officials. In the modern era, fiber optic cables and high-voltage power lines join this hidden network, transmitting the lifeblood of data and energy under the river's watchful flow. Maintenance shafts and access points are disguised among the embankments, their presence betrayed only by cryptic signage and reinforced hatches. The Thames' hidden arteries are a testament to human determination, a silent infrastructure that sustains, protects, and connects the city above. While ancient shipwrecks and explosive cargoes capture headlines, it is these unseen tunnels that keep London alive, threading its past and future together beneath the ever-shifting waters. As London's fortunes rose along the Thames, so too did its vulnerability. The river, lifeblood of the city, has always carried a hidden threat: the risk of catastrophic flooding. Over centuries, the challenge of taming the river's unpredictable surges spurred feats of engineering and innovation that continue to shape the city's destiny. In medieval times, simple earth embankments, known as walls, offered the first line of defense, snaking along the river banks. These early barriers, built from clay and timber, were often breached by powerful tides and storm surges, inundating fields and streets with little warning. The Industrial Revolution brought new urgency. As docks expanded and the population boomed, the stakes grew higher. Engineers responded with stone and brick embankments, raising the city's defences and reclaiming land from the river's grasp. Yet, the Thames remained unpredictable. The devastating flood of 1928, when icy waters swept through central London, was a stark reminder of nature's power and the city's vulnerability. A turning point came in the wake of the North Sea flood of 1953, which claimed hundreds of lives in eastern England. In its aftermath, planners envisioned a barrier that could shield London from the worst tidal surges. Decades of research and debate led to the creation of the Thames Barrier, a monumental structure completed in 1982. Rising from the river like futuristic sentinels, the barrier's 10 steel gates can be raised in under 2 hours, sealing off central London from the sea during high tides and storms. Each gate is pivoted on massive concrete piers, allowing them to withstand the pressure of millions of tons of water. The barrier's design is both elegant and robust, an engineering marvel that has protected the city more than 200 times since its inauguration. Yet, the story does not end there. As climate change accelerates and sea levels rise, London's defences continue to evolve. The Thames Estuary 2100 plan charts a course for the next century, envisioning new embankments, tidal walls, and even larger barriers to safeguard future generations. Today, sensors and automated systems monitor the river's every move, feeding real-time data into control rooms beneath the embankments. Floodgates, pumping stations, and sluices form an intricate web of protection hidden in plain sight. The city above rarely glimpses these guardians, but their silent vigilance ensures that London remains secure against the tides. From medieval walls to the mighty Thames Barrier and beyond, the evolution of flood defences is a testament to the city's resilience, a constant dance with the river that shaped, threatened, and ultimately protected the heart of London. As dawn broke over Victorian London, the Thames became the city's industrial artery, a shifting highway of commerce, invention, and ambition. Along its banks, the skyline transformed brick factories and ironworks rose where marshes and meadows once stood, their chimneys pumping plumes of smoke into the grey morning air. Animated maps show the river's course lined with sprawling docks, West India, East India, and Surrey, each a bustling hive of cranes, warehouses, and railway sidings. Mechanical winches clank and steam engines hiss, offloading mountains of coal, sacks of grain, and crates stamped with destinations from across the globe. Barges and paddle steamers crowd the water, their hulls piled high with raw materials: iron ore from the north, timber from Scandinavia, cotton from distant colonies. Steam-powered tugboats, a new breed of rivercraft, churn black water as they haul cargo-laden ships upriver against the current. Aerial shots reveal the intricate network of canals and basins branching from the Thames, feeding factories with coal and carrying away finished goods, textiles, machinery and glass bound for export. The riverbank bustles with the movement of conveyor belts and horse-drawn carts, all orchestrated to the relentless rhythm of progress. Beneath the surface, unseen pipes discharge plumes of warm water and industrial effluent, a byproduct of relentless production. The Thames, once a clear ribbon winding through fields, grows murky and dense, its tides swirling with the residue of a city in transformation. The river itself becomes a testing ground for innovation. Experimental steam ferries and floating cranes glide past, their silhouettes casting long shadows in the mist. Gasworks and power stations rise along the shore, their flickering lights illuminating the night and powering the city's first electric trams. From the wharves of Wapping to the shipyards of Greenwich, the Thames shapes and is shaped by the industrial age. Its currents carry not just goods, but the hopes and ambitions of an empire at its zenith, fueling the machines, lighting the streets, and forging the modern city from steam, smoke, and steel. As the industrial echoes faded, and the city's machines fell silent, the Thames began a quieter, yet equally dramatic transformation, a journey from polluted artery to thriving ecosystem. Once suffocated by the detritus of progress, the river's waters now ripple with new life, evidence of decades of determined restoration. Computer-generated imagery sweeps beneath the surface, revealing hidden worlds where shoals of silvery dace and eels weave through gently swaying aquatic plants. Mudflats and reed beds, painstakingly restored along the river's edge, provide sanctuary for nesting birds, herons standing motionless in the shallows, while flashes of kingfisher blue dart above the rippling tide. At low tide, exposed sandbanks teem with invertebrates, drawing flocks of avocets and oystercatchers to feast. Animated infographics track the return of once-vanished species. Salmon and sea trout now migrate upriver to spawn, their epic journeys made possible by cleaner water and carefully engineered fish passes. Otters, long absent from London, are glimpsed again in moonlit footage, their sleek forms sliding silently through reed-fringed backwaters. The river's revival is not accidental. Scientific animations illustrate the vast network of modern treatment plants and hidden reed beds that filter pollutants before they reach the Thames. Underwater sensors, bristling with blinking lights, monitor oxygen levels and water quality in real time, feeding data to conservationists and city planners alike. Drone footage glides over floating wetlands, man-made islands of vegetation anchored in the current, where dragonflies hover and young fish find shelter. Animated diagrams show how these green rafts absorb excess nutrients, helping to keep algal blooms at bay and stabilize the riverbanks against erosion. Even the mud tells a story. Time-lapse sequences reveal how once toxic sediments are gradually cleansed by the work of bacteria and burrowing worms, restoring the riverbed's delicate balance. Above all, the Thames has become a living laboratory. Environmental scientists deploy remote cameras and acoustic monitors to track elusive creatures and assess the health of the ecosystem. Each tide brings new discoveries: a rare seal basking on a sandbar, or the delicate eggs of a freshwater mussel clinging to a pebble. Today, the Thames flows not just as a witness to the past, but as a symbol of renewal. Its waters, once written off as dead, now shimmer with possibility, proof that even the most damaged landscapes can recover, given time, science, and the resilience of nature itself. Beneath the tranquil surface of the Thames, a hidden world of modern engineering pulses with silent energy, a testament to human ingenuity and the city's relentless drive to adapt. High-resolution 3D animations descend into the depths below the riverbed, revealing a labyrinth of colossal structures that safeguard London's future. The journey begins at the iconic Thames Barrier, its silver-clad gates gleaming in the early light. Detailed animations peel back the river, exposing the immense steel segments, each as tall as a 5-story building, poised to rise against the threat of surging tides. Mechanical schematics unfold, showing how the barrier's pivoting gates, powered by hydraulic arms, can swing into action within minutes, shielding the heart of London from catastrophic flooding. Sensors and control rooms bathed in blue LED glow monitor water levels and tidal surges in real time, ready to respond to even the most unpredictable storms. Beneath the city, the camera glides through the vast echoing tunnels of Crossrail, now the Elizabeth Line, a feat of subterranean construction that weaves beneath the Thames itself. Cutaway visuals reveal the tunnel boring machines, colossal, rotating shields armed with tungsten teeth, carving through layers of ancient clay and gravel. Engineers' digital blueprints overlay the scene, charting the precise routes where the tunnels slip beneath the river. Their reinforced concrete linings designed to withstand immense pressure and shifting ground. Elsewhere, the Thames Tideway Tunnel, London's new super sewer, takes shape in animated cross-section. Here, robotic arms and automated cranes assemble segments of the vast pipe, wide enough to swallow double-decker buses. As stormwater surges, the tunnel diverts millions of litres of overflow away from the river, preventing pollution and protecting the delicate balance restored in recent years. Throughout this subterranean realm, networks of fiber optic cables and remote sensors transmit data to control centers above, orchestrating the flow of people, water, and energy beneath the city's surface. Animated infographics map out future projects, from flood-resistant embankments to self-healing concrete, hinting at a river ever entwined with innovation. In the darkness beneath the Thames, these engineering marvels work unseen, their silent strength ensuring that both city and river can thrive together. Above, the water sparkles with new life. Below, the machinery of progress hums on, a hidden promise that London's greatest challenges are met not just in daylight, but deep beneath the tide. Beneath the steel and stone of London, the Thames has always kept its secrets. As the city's lifeblood, its depths are not only shaped by engineers and architects, but also by centuries of myths and unsolved mysteries that swirl beneath the surface. Ghost stories, lost treasures, and unexplained phenomena that have endured through generations. The camera glides above fog-shrouded water, then dips below, where realistic, non-human visuals reveal forgotten shipwrecks resting in silent darkness. Silt slowly drifts over weathered hulls, each one rumoured to conceal untold riches or tragic tales. Among them, the so-called Black Barge lies half buried, a vessel said to have vanished without a trace in the 19th century, rumoured to have been carrying a fortune in gold coins. Despite countless searches, no one has ever recovered its treasure, and divers report strange currents and sudden chills near its last known location. In the shadowy riverbed, the lens lingers on ancient wooden stakes, remnants of prehistoric crossings. Local fishermen once whispered of the Thames Serpent, a mysterious shape spotted undulating in the water on moonless nights. While modern science attributes these sightings to drifting logs or playful seals, the legend persists, fueled by rare sonar blips and unexplained ripples captured on security cameras. Further downstream, the camera explores the eerie silence of the abandoned tunnels beneath the river, sealed passages built for long-forgotten railways and utilities. Here, non-human visuals depict flickering lights and unexplained shadows captured on CCTV, giving rise to stories of lost workers and unexplained echoes. Some say that, in the quietest hours, the rhythmic sound of pickaxes can still be heard, though the tunnels have been empty for decades. Not all mysteries are ancient. In the 1980s, a series of unexplained metallic objects were discovered embedded in the mud near Greenwich, intricately shaped and resistant to corrosion, experts remain divided. Are they remnants of Victorian engineering or evidence of an experimental project lost to history? As the camera gently ascends, the river's surface shimmers with morning light. The Thames, ever-changing, remains a keeper of stories, some explained, many still waiting to be uncovered. In the city's restless heart, beneath layers of silt and secrecy, the line between history and legend is often blurred. And so, the Thames endures, a river of mysteries, inviting the curious to dive deeper, always just out of reach